Welcome to the Mile High Muscle Talk Show, where we talk about what's going on at the Mile High Mecca, as well as our Colorado NPC and IFBB athletes all throughout the industry. So we're going to jump right in tonight with talking to two guys that are getting ready for Nationals in Miami. What are we, 4 weeks out?
Yep.
You guys probably have the days counted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Adam Young, who will be competing in light heavies, correct? And, of course, Big Russ Allen, who will be dominating super heavyweights. So I think both of you, I know from my standpoint, and I'm sure you would agree, I mean, clearly very genetically blessed, as well as hard workers. Very involved in the Colorado NPC as well. I want to talk a little bit. Let's go over Adam. Let's go over your competition history.
Right.
And because both of these guys, now Russ has been around since 2008 competing. A little bit longer. He took quite a bit of a hiatus, right? A little bit of a hiatus between 2008 and 2012, I believe. But both of these guys, up-and-comers for sure. Obviously, a huge success in a short amount of time. So kudos to both of you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Adam, you really just came on the stage in 2013.
Yep.
So the Northern, you started out as a middleweight.
Yeah.
Then you were at the Warrior as a light heavy.
Yep.
And then last year, Junior Nationals. So tell us a little bit about how did you get involved in bodybuilding?
Well, I was a three-sport athlete in high school. Actually met Alan Watkins.
Yeah.
Body Watt.
I know.
Yeah.
How many people started with bodybuilding?
At a bar in Denver.
No.
Yeah.
Can you believe that?
Shocker.
I just believe it.
Yeah. Shocker.
That's how Waddy works
I know,
best.
I know.
Yeah. So, we were just talking, and he was like, "Yeah, you'd be a sweet bodybuilder. Just come train with me at Armrest."
So what sports were you playing?
I played. I would play football, baseball, and wrestled.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, kind of built an athletic foundation there, and then, like I said, met Waddy. Started training with him over here, and then he was back and forth to Vegas, and then got on with this guy.
Vegas.
Shocker again. Yeah.
I think Waddy's there right now.
He probably is.
No, I just saw him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We never know where he is or what he's doing.
And that's how I started training with D. Actually,
Yeah.
Cause
You were like, he's never around.
Yeah, I was
so.
I actually went up to D and was like, "Hey, have you seen Waddy?" And so started training with D, and we prepped for about 12 weeks, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then
12 weeks.
Yeah.
For a bodybuilder, that's a short amount of time.
Yeah, it was.
So it was 12 weeks for your first show.
Yeah.
Where you placed, you were first overall in the middleweights.
Overall of the show.
Oh, overall the
I
show.
won the
Won the
Northern.
At the Northern.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's
and
a way to get started.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad start.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then went to Junior Nationals about 6 weeks later.
Mhm.
Took third, and then did the Warrior, and bumped up to light heavyweight. Won that, and then did Junior Nationals this year, light heavy. Took sixth. Wasn't very happy with my placing, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Hey, top 10 national show, I'm sure. You guys are competitive,
Right.
all that, you hear all that. But it is a very good start. Obviously, you're used to winning. You know that.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough to take. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
We're gonna make up for it here.
That always gets the fire started.
It does.
What would you say about Adam as an athlete, since you're
I
his
think
trainer?
he's a really gifted athlete. I think with most athletes, so what they got to understand with bodybuilding is it's a journey. It's it's not, hey, I'm going to go kick ass and win this weekend.
It's
like
no men's
every
physique,
year
right?
you get better.
I'm just teasing.
Yeah, I
I'm
didn't
just
say
teasing.
that. Every year you get better. Every year you get bigger. And it's like you just got to go with that. And know,
Yeah.
sometimes maybe you get a second along the way. Sometimes you get a third. Most of the time you win, but we've seen the best in the world. Phil Heath take his journey, and as soon as he turned pro, he got some of his fifths and his thirds, and it took him.
Well, back in the day, it would take guys 10, 12 years, if they ever got a pro card.
Right.
I mean, this was back when at the USA's, you had to win the overall to get a pro card. I mean, this wasn't 2 per class and 3 if you're lucky. And I mean, so I think that's obvious. You bring up a really good point of bodybuilding being so different than these other divisions from the standpoint of having to grow and take that time.
He reminds me of that every day.
Oh, does he? Yeah. No, but I think it's really important, and that's what I like to see, especially with the two of you, is that understanding, as well as that respect for the guys that are battling at those top spots. You know, on any given day, right? Especially with bodybuilding, it's much more intricate from the standpoint of last minute dieting, how your body responds, sodium. I mean, everything.
A lot goes into it. A lot. You know, every year you learn more, and you know you get better.
And that's the beauty of having a trainer, I think, for longer periods of time, because they get to know your body.
Exactly.
You know, I think even more important.
Gamble more at the end.
In bodybuilding, exactly.
Because when you're carving up, everybody carves up differently. You know, it's like what you can take, and you know, I remember my biggest thing was I was like. I needed to be shredded, and I'd show up on stage flat shit because I'm shredded.
You were just scared to carve up.
Afraid to carve up. Because I didn't, I had to learn everything, and you know, there wasn't all these gurus around when I was coming up. It was
let's do this.
Guru.
And let's talk to you, Russ. Like I said, you had a little earlier start, 2008. You're a little older too, right?
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 26.
26, and Russ?
35.
35. Okay.
Oh yeah, they're so old.
He's aged, but I mean, truly, in bodybuilding, you know, that's where you start to see.
Yeah, I may be wasting my time.
Seriously.
Oh, go that route. You know how I feel about that. Okay. I'm just kidding. So you started in 2008, and you took a little hiatus. We're going to talk about that.
Okay.
Because I know that was maybe bumpy road, yeah, for you?
Yeah, bodybuilding wasn't really what I wanted to do when I started. I kind of got thrown into it in 2008. I didn't even start really lifting weights until I was 27 years old, 28 years old.
Wow.
So,
That's awesome.
I started lifting weights, did my first show, and it went well. I mean, it wasn't a big show. It was kind of...
Were you in, it was Colorado or
in
Wyoming?
Utah.
Oh, Utah,
My first
okay.
show was in Utah.
Are you from there?
Yeah, I was born in
Okay.
Utah, actually, and I lived up in Salt Lake for a little while. And I took a little hiatus. Had no idea what I really wanted to do with my life. So I moved around, started working in supplement shops, kind of got a little bit more into it. And I moved over to Colorado and actually started training here. That's when I first met Dylan.
Right.
I trained with
What year?
Richard. 2009, I think. Was
Okay.
So shortly after we opened.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and I trained with, I lived with Alan Richards and Laura and
nice.
Dana. And that's kind of when I really started getting more into it.
Well, you had no choice.
Yeah. And then living with those guys.
Surrounded by
Oh my
bodybuilders. And I started getting real into it. Then I did the 2010 Northern, and I took third at that show. I didn't really prep really hard. I kind of just thought I was the shit, really. And
He was
just showed up and
just learn it.
yeah,
right?
I was learning. Yeah,
The best way to learn is get an ass handed to you,
I kind of did
right?
everything on my own and played around with things, and I took third, and it was kind of stabbed me in the heart and dug deep. And I was like, well, I really want to take this serious. So I took a couple of years off and started really trying to build a foundation and learning and teaching myself things. And
Build a foundation you did, because in 2012, you were second at the Rocky. Close second, I will add, to Nick Zaharis, of course. I think truly that decision could have gone either way.
yeah, it was close.
But it's good. Second actually is pretty motivating, right?
Yeah, I was happy with it, especially to him because he
It's
won the
true.
Rocky before that. The same year, the year before that.
No, he's a great bodybuilder, so no, that's a great placing. Obviously, your first show back, really, or with any intensity.
Yeah.
2013, Colorado State, the Rocky as well, and you won the overall there. And then you go to Junior Nationals. I loved that show. Junior Nationals was last year, this year.
Yeah, it was
this year.
Yeah.
With Dorian and yourself and Nick. How cool to see.
Great Colorado presence there. Was awesome.
It was
really great.
Out of that show, so it was good to.
Yeah, Rachel Loftus win.
Yeah.
Rain win.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Adam, it was honestly that was such a good. I love that show too.
Yeah, it was a fun show.
Such a great showing, but you've had a lot of success here.
Yeah.
So coming into nationals, what are your expectations?
I mean, obviously, I want to win. I mean, that's my goal is to go in there and bring the best package. I'm not getting my hopes up too high because I know it's a national level show, and you kind of get there and it's like, wow. I mean, even at Junior Nationals, I walked backstage and I was like, holy cow, I don't belong here. You know, these guys are freaks. So I'm going there with an open mind. You know, I'm hoping top 5. That's what I'm hoping for, and that's it. And I'll be happy if I take top 5.
That's like I just commend both you guys for that type of an attitude, because we see so many times, you know, somebody doesn't place how they think they should. Of course, there's so many politics, and then they disappear. So when you have that love, which I think that was one of the main reasons we wanted both of you on, is when you have that deeper love for the sport, and respect for your other athletes, you're just happy to be there. And like I always tell people, nobody can take away that feeling, and what you learn and all of that. I don't care what place you get. Now, that being said, both of you guys, obviously, who do you think your biggest competition is, Russ?
Well, I want to get in the overall, and I want to face Dorian again. That's really
So Dorian will be in heavy. Dorian Haywood. I know, wouldn't it be great? I mean, it
definitely
really
could happen for sure.
Yeah, it really could happen. So Dorian Haywood, of course, who took the overall at Junior Nationals. Do you remember how many? I apologize. Do you remember how many points?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I didn't even ask.
Yeah.
I think Dorian deserved it, or earned it. Better yet is a better word.
Yeah.
I take a loss as a loss. I don't get angry about it. I don't care if someone beats me. I just plan to come back better, and that's kind of how I take it.
So that's all you can.
Yeah.
So
And that's why you're a good coach as well.
Yeah.
So Team Allen, you've amassed a huge team of athletes. Congratulations to you. And I know you and I kind of see eye to eye on a lot of things as far as prepping and the basics and all of that. But yeah, how has that been different for you? Because this is prepping and then focusing on all your athletes at the same time.
Actually, it's been good because it's kind of allowed me the ability just to be at home.
Yeah.
I get to work from home, so I get to really focus on my prep, and it's just nice to have that kind of time to myself. And really, I mean, bodybuilding's my life, so I get to live that life, and it's nice. It helps a lot. So
People ask me a lot of times too, how do you handle it, right? And you either really do like working with competitors,
I love it.
or you don't. You've kind of got to learn the craziness of it all. And what are you doing, Adam, during the day?
Right now, I'm working over at Prestige Fitness. I just personal train over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Just
good.
what do you mean?
Just
That's,
Yeah.
I love it. You guys are immersed in the industry.
Yeah.
What, Adam? What changes did you make for this prep versus other preps?
Well, training with this guy 5 days a week. That's definitely made the biggest impact on my prep for sure.
We were talking about this, but before we got on camera. So you're prepping, or you're obviously prepping with Dylan, and it's that push, the
Absolutely.
spots, all of that.
It's huge. It's huge. I mean, like the 7 sets of 20 on squats, stuff like that. I mean, just stuff I've never done. The volume training, the high intensity, stuff like that.
I thought you did low reps for big muscles.
Well, apparently that's how you. Apparently that's how you do it.
I know. We're going to talk about that later, actually.
Apparently that's how you do it. So, but yeah, that's definitely. I mean, the push that he gives me every day. I mean, it's made a huge impact. I mean, I can't thank him enough for what he's done for me.
Yeah.
I mean, he's always there for me. Everything. I mean, it's just been a huge, huge difference in my prep, the intensity. The diet's a little bit. I'm low carbon a little bit more than I was. So that's obviously you feel that a little bit. But
is that what you guys feel that you need to do? Is come in tighter, or what?
He needs to come in fuller, tighter.
All of it, full
in
tight.
order to do that, you have to have the whole process behind you. You got to know what the body's doing, know how it's reacting, and the training. I can't stand the people that say it's 80% diet, 20% training. Because no, it's bullshit. It's 100% training. It's 100% diet. And what most of these idiots don't think is they better use their fucking head because it's 100% mental too.
Really great.
Exactly.
Really great point. It is 100%.
And that's what I try to give Adam every day. Remind him, use your head. You're
Yeah.
a little sloppy. Straighten it out. Push harder.
Yeah.
And that's what he needs, and that's what you need to get to that level.
Yeah. And I know you would agree with that.
Yeah.
It sounds like you've got some different sort of people in your corner this prep. Do you want to talk about
I
that?
started training with Jim. He's been my new training partner. Jim. You've known Jim forever.
Jimmy and I used to
Jimmy.
do some crazy
Yeah,
leg
he used to
workouts
train
back in the day.
Yeah.
I was just talking about that.
Too much.
Jimmy, I have never seen somebody with 4 plates side. Yeah. I don't even, ass to the ground.
Yeah.
He's great. He's a great,
He's
a
probably
great
just-
training partner.
Yeah, he's been the biggest factor in this prep. I think for me is just really pushing me past those limits in the gym. Points that I never thought I'd be able to get to.
Yeah.
Training wise, and that's been a big impact. And of course, I'm still using Shane.
Yep.
As my prep
Yeah.
coach, and everything's going good.
I think that's the important part. People ask all the time, as far as prep coaches and who's the best, and you just have to find that fit, that person that pushes you, that you trust, that motivates you. I don't know that there's, a right answer to that.
Yeah.
It has to be a.
You find it.
It's like a
you go
custom
through a few
work, I
coaches.
You know?
You find what works for you.
Yeah.
I think overall the important part is that you find someone you trust
Yes.
and you listen to 100%.
Absolutely.
I think that's key.
Absolutely.
We see so many people, especially, people ask me all the time, why don't you prep your, because I'm crazy. I can't prep myself. You guys, listen, okay, I know I'm a female, so, okay, yes, I'm crazy, but wouldn't you guys agree, 9 a.m. you feel one way, 11 a.m. you feel a different way.
Absolutely.
So, you would start cutting or adding or,
And
making
you can justify things, I think, more if you do it on your own.
Yeah.
Whereas if you have a set plan, I feel like you follow it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you just, and again, Shane has a great reputation, obviously, as well. Obviously, Dee, we know what you've done. Are you're gonna have the signature legs?
What's that?
Or are you gonna have the signature
Of
arm
course,
wrestle?
of
Okay,
course.
just checking. And there's actually pressure around the gym that you bring
This
the
guy,
arm
this
wrestle.
guy actually trains with me. So
Yeah, I saw that.
I try some.
I know, I saw that
He does.
too.
Like so old and beat up. These suckers like me 20 minutes
Yeah,
on the bike before.
All I ever
Poor guy's
see
beat
is
up.
like body sweat marks.
I know. We get after it.
When you have to come up here more
Yeah, I
often.
know.
Russ.
Me and Jim were just talking.
Yeah.
about
On
this earlier,
Sundays,
so,
Sundays are kind of, the
That's
day.
the
of
leg day.
That's the leg day. So, what would you guys tell up and comers?
Patience. Patience, I think, would be the biggest thing I tell anybody that's getting into bodybuilding, and especially bodybuilding. With other divisions like bikini and physique, you can make things happen pretty fast in those divisions. But with bodybuilding, it's a slow process. I think it's just patience and allowing things to work and trusting the process, basically.
Patience, I agree.
Sticking to a plan.
Yeah.
I think in bodybuilding more than anything is, I don't really care for these terms, on season, off season. When like I tell people, if you're in fitness or you're a bodybuilder, it's just what you do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There isn't like this period and that period. Yes, things change, but that's where you hear a lot of people, not as much in bodybuilders, I don't think, but people rebounding or struggling mentally. It's like, this is just what you do.
It's
All
constant
year.
progress.
Every year. 4 years.
That's what it takes.
Right?
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. What do you find, Adam, what do you find your biggest sort of struggle in prep is? Is it cravings? Is it tired?
I would say tiredness, maybe. But I don't, as far as diet, I'm very strict with my diet. Like, I don't.
It all the time, right?
Off season, I'll eat a burger or Chipotle here and there, but he writes my off season plan. I'll stick to it.
Because I
and
think
when I'm
actually,
prepping, I'm 100%.
that's all. Yeah, and I think anybody that's successful.
Mentally,
So you don't have cheat meals.
No.
Okay, good.
Never.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
No, but the reason I ask that is because I think is even as much for females, we see that rebound or things like that. You see the bodybuilders, I'm bulking.
Right. I think that's an excuse.
Just to get
Right?
I think
Yeah.
that's an excuse.
Yeah.
So, I don't do that. I'm just bulking. No. Like in the off season, you'll have me eating, a couple burgers in the weekend and stuff like that. Just
A little bit of red meat.
But exactly. But that's it.
Yeah.
Besides
What
that,
about you, Russ?
What do I struggle with?
Yeah.
I struggle with every single aspect of this.
Do you?
Honest.
I'll be honest with that. It's hard. It's hard for me mentally. It's hard physically. As I'm getting a little bit older, it gets a little bit tougher.
Mentally, as far as because you and I have been friends a little bit, and mentally, as far as doubt,
I have
or
doubts too, just
like
everybody else.
yeah.
Doubt if I'm going to do well. I've doubted myself in bodybuilding since I started. It's a tough sport. There's freaks of nature that just show up at shows and blow everybody out of the water.
See, I actually, do you guys
I've
hear
never
this?
thought of
Because
myself as one of those guys.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I hope you guys hear that because I would get that occasionally too. I think people see certain athletes and it's as if it's easy all the time. And that definitely isn't the case because we see you and you're a freak. You're a freak to me, right? You're a freak. Yeah, you're a freak of
He's like
nature.
Junior Nationals.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
I think
think they're
we
freaks,
put you in that category, just so you know. But that's important to hear.
Yeah.
And I think the important thing with that is everyone feels fear, but it's what do you do with it?
My biggest, thing for you guys, advice would just be always try to be better than what you were the last time you stepped on stage, because you cannot control what anybody else does or what anybody else brings. You can only control what's within, and you'll have a lot better career.
Yeah.
Just thinking that.
Absolutely.
And more enjoyable career,
Yeah.
instead of focus on. And that's what I love about bodybuilders more than I think some of the other divisions. They really are in it for the love of the sport.
Yeah.
Sort of versus catching that,
And another thing I would say is, it's like, Russ says bodybuilding's your life. It's like, don't make it your life. Seriously, don't. Do some other things.
Well, I mean,
I
it's
understand
bodybuilding and all the different realms of it, right?
Yeah.
And all the different aspects of bodybuilding. It's not,
components,
right now, it's grind time because I feel like I'm making that push to go a little bit further. But yeah, I mean, it's all the different aspects of bodybuilding that I really do love. Coaching people, seeing people compete, being involved in the sport. So.
And both of you have that. I know you had some. I don't know. Are you still with Muscle Tech or what's happening with that?
No, not with anybody right now. I actually Complete Nutrition Glendale. They're taking care of me as far as supplementation for this prep. So really appreciative of that. But as far as with the company, I'm not with anybody right now.
Okay, so he's great.
So,
and I know Russ had a big signing recently. You want to talk about that?
I signed with Badencourt Nutrition, really good company. Starting to get pretty big. They've got a good name out there. They're really taking care of me, which is great.
Yeah. That's huge, you guys. I mean,
again,
bodybuilding to be sponsored.
Financially huge too. So that's.
I competed against George Betancourt.
Yeah, I remember.
Nice.
Teen Nationals when he won. That was my first awakening over.
Teen Nationals?
Yeah, Teen Nationals.
What year was that?
I don't know. But I saw George, take his shit off, and I was all like, oh. Good thing.
All right.
That's how I felt at junior nationals. Whoa.
I know. Who are these guys? So that brings up who inspired you as a bodybuilder?
Gosh, there were a lot of people that inspired me as a bodybuilder. The first guy I ever met, his name was Scott Farmer, and a guy named Matt up in Salt Lake, and they were both bodybuilders. They trained together. They kind of took me in and started showing me things and talked me into doing my first
How old
show.
were you?
28.
Okay.
27 when I started.
That's older, yeah.
So, yeah. They kind of inspired me to get into it, and then I just started reading magazines. And Phil Heath, I kind of followed his career when he first started. I thought he was pretty awe-inspiring. And Branch Warren was one of my first favorite bodybuilders ever, just because he was that hardworking.
Country boy.
Kind of reminded me of Branch Warren,
Yeah,
I like that.
He does have that.
That's what kind of caught my eye into it. And of course, when I first started, it was kind of like the stardom idea of it, seeing these guys in magazines, and I wanted that. And then that's kind of why I took my hiatus, because I realized it wasn't really like that. It was, you got to put in some work to get to that level.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
And what about you?
I would say, he always compared me to Flex Lewis. So,
I think he looks like a little Flex.
Yeah, he does.
So, I would say Flex for sure. I started bodybuilding. I didn't even know what bodybuilding was before I started bodybuilding. I always knew I was, I guess, genetically gifted.
Yeah.
I guess, because like I said, I was a 3-sport athlete. I was always the strongest one on the team. I always put on muscle pretty good. So I knew I had good genetics for this sport. So that's kind of what got me into it.
Yeah.
And then I kind of took off, and then he used to call me Flex Lewis.
I like that. That's a great comparison. Yeah.
Hey, he's got these guns that are.
Yeah, try it.
I know, but I like that innocence too. Like where you're just like, I don't know, let's just
try this out. See where we go.
I think it's after like the high school, college years, I think that's what's so attractive about the sport, and that's why now with all these new divisions, we're bringing in all these different sort of ex-athletes. I don't want to say ex because I consider us athletes, but where you don't. All you can do is play in some beer league for baseball,
that's
right?
kind of how I started. Seriously.
Yeah.
So I was like, what?
That was between
what now?
2008 and 2012.
Yeah. That's how I got into it. I was like, what's next? I've always been an athlete. What do I do now?
Yeah, but it's an
Thank
outlet.
God I found this. This is that now I look at this as my sport. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it has saved a lot of us. I don't want to speak for you, but
It has.
you know it's like I don't know what else would we be doing.
I don't know.
I know what you'd be doing. You'd be in trouble.
Yeah,
somewhere.
I'd be partying downtown with Lottie. Bro.
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't be able to keep up.
Yeah.
I know it saved your butt a long time ago, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But, you know, bodybuilding's also got me in a lot of trouble too. There's a lot of negative out there. There is. And you gotta stay away from that shit because you know, especially back when I was coming up, there's a lot of ugliness in bodybuilding. It's a lot cleaned up now, but you know, it can be good and bad, just like anything else.
You know, just kind of like the social media that we've talked about in the past. But you know, you really can, use it for good and focus on that. And I know both of you guys really do that. And how you carry yourselves in the sport is really admirable and respectful for sure. I know you guys are both very involved in the Colorado NPC and all of that. As we wrap up, who would you like to thank, or you know, who do you want to acknowledge for sort of being on your team? Because it takes a tribe to get to the stage, that's for sure.
I like to start with thanking Kelsey, my fiance. Obviously, she's been a big impact in my life this year. She's really helped me take things a lot further. Shane, of course, he's kind of been my mentor and my friend and my coach along the whole way. He's been there for me when other people haven't. Family, friends, you guys. I mean, Dylan's kind of been a pioneer in this industry for a long time. I've looked up to him for a long time.
That means you're old.
I'm not way behind you, man. Come on.
But hey, Russ is from Utah.
Yeah.
He has one girlfriend, one fiance, not two or three,
Oh my
and
God.
from Utah.
Not a boy.
Well, Russ is a pioneer then too.
You're rare in Utah.
One wife.
I don't have a wife yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
Close.
Yeah,
You're getting
yeah.
Oh, you do.
That's coming
You just
up.
don't
Yeah,
know.
you do.
Oh, he knows it.
And what about you, Adam?
I'd have to thank my parents. My dad's been so supportive. Throughout my whole entire career in bodybuilding. So I mean, he helps me prep my food. I mean, it's a huge help.
Your dad does?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, his dad's.
He's
Yeah.
the
Wow.
shit. He's the
Now,
best.
does he have genetics? I mean, where do you...
Yeah, my dad's like 6'2", like 225.
Oh,
But my
wow.
mom's like 5 foot.
There you
So,
go.
You know. So yeah, he's a
Hey,
big,
you gotta use
he's
that.
a big dude. But yeah, we're all, both sides of my family, you got a little, I guess you'd call us like little meatheads.
Yeah.
You know? So,
Awesome.
Yeah, so I got that. And then my girlfriend, Gianna, she's been huge support as well. Dylan, obviously. Armbrust, just as a whole. I mean, the energy here is incredible. I mean, every time I walk through this door, it inspires me. So,
It's true.
just
Well,
some people you like yourself.
oh, thanks. Yeah.
So,
Well, I know both of us obviously wish you guys the best of luck. It's going to be a strong crew.
I'll be down there watching,
Yeah.
supporting, and I really wish you guys the best. Appreciate you guys coming by.
Thank you.
Of course, thank you guys.
So you guys, if you did not already, obviously follow Mr. Adam Young and Mr. Big Russ Allen as they go on to nationals and look to conquer and come away with that elusive pro card.
Why Armbrust Pro Gym? This is why.
Welcome back to the Mile High Muscle Talk Show. Let's get into kind of what's happening in the industry as well as around Colorado and Colorado athletes. So last weekend was the Phoenix Europa. It was a huge show.
It was.
Yeah. So I think there were between 150 and 160 athletes. Yeah.
Wasn't that Ed and Betty Creasel show?
Ed and Betty, they always put on an amazing show. I personally don't like 2-day shows, but really great, huge vendors. I mean, outside of the Olympia and Arnold, these are your biggest shows. 2-day events, lots of vendors. They really take good care of the athletes. I can't help but sort of mention this, though, because you come here for the truth and opinion, but I didn't think the quality was great. it was a lot of athletes. Let's just say that.
Well, I think what you run into is you did have your quality athletes there.
Yes, there was a
people that
handful.
win the top five.
Yes.
And then you have everybody else.
Yes.
And the problem is everybody else knows who the top five are because they are great athletes. So do they really?
Here's what it brings up, right? This idea about pro cards. So, are we saturated? Are we getting saturated with pro cards? And my biggest question as a lover of bodybuilding is, what is this high number of pro cards doing to our sport and the integrity of what it means to hold a pro card?
I think a little bit of it has to do with, yes, there's too many pro cards giving out. I've never seen, except for David Henry, who was a middleweight turned pro, who turned out to be one of the top echelon bodybuilders. So I'm not trying to hate on anybody, but why did they give a pro card to a middleweight? Why did they give a pro card to a lightweight, a bantamweight? I'm just talking about bodybuilding right now.
Second place. I don't even know how good I'd
feel. Well, they
feel.
do that in figure.
Yeah, I don't know how that. I don't know. Do you feel good about that? It's second place. You get a pro card. Like we spoke about earlier. Back in the day, you won the overall. You won the overall, and it took you years. Yeah. It took you years. So I feel like this is a much bigger conversation. I'm not sure I have the energy for it today. I'm a little tired, but I really do feel, and I feel like this show, like you said, there were some quality athletes there. Please don't hear me wrong. And really, anybody that steps on the stage, it is the best of the best. I just feel like it's gotten a little watered down, a little saturated.
Well, these guys and these girls that are getting, 10th, 15th, 16th, 20 of them tied for 16th place.
Yeah.
As a professional, you better step your game up. You look at somebody like Jose Raymond, who turned his pro card down 3 times.
He did.
3 times. I think it was 2 or 3 times before he finally said, "Okay, I'm going to be a pro." And then when he even turned pro, he's, this is a...
You take time off. You improve.
You improve.
Yeah.
And I don't see a lot of these people improving. I think they're, it's just time to diet for a show again. Better get off my McDonald's and get on my diet.
You bring up a really...
They don't do it year-round, so they never improve, but they still keep that, I'm a pro. So
and I think when you're at that pro level, you have a duty to, again, come in as a professional.
Well, otherwise you may be labeled a pro, but you ain't getting fucking paid. So you're not a pro, really.
Exactly. I've said this before. People get kind of show happy, right? And especially in some of these other divisions, more and more and more. And really, you like you said, you need to work on your weaknesses and come in better, stronger. I think that would serve everybody a little bit better.
Yeah.
But this show, let's talk about mostly... Jose Raymond, before we get into the Colorado athletes, took the show, and really happy for Jose.
Yeah.
He's been sort of bridesmaid to Flex Lewis a lot, and he just really came in and nailed this show.
Yeah,
so.
I like Jose. He's he's good character, good person.
Yeah, he is.
I'll tell you what, I don't know if there's... I know a lot of the pros, but I guarantee Jose is right up there as far as who puts in the hardest work in the gym.
Well, and who's really very, very well respected.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so good to see Jose take that. But let's focus more on the Colorado athletes. Heather Grace, again, we're going to try to get Heather. I'm sure we can, between the two of us, get her on the show. But another top 3 placing. That top 3 in women's physique could have gone, I think, any way. Tammy Marie right in there. So huge congrats to Heather again.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Awesome job.
I know you're training her on legs and body parts.
Gym a few days a week, and just try to push her the best we can.
I know she would agree that especially her legs, her hamstrings and quads have been a weakness in the past, and certainly not this year. I'm sure thanks to you, and as well as I know she's got she's got a great coach for diet, and I know she's following more than she ever has, which lo and behold, she's having success. So Marina Lopez competed. She was out of that top 16, but good to see her out there. Chris Williamson as well was kind of top 15, 15th out of 19 in men's physique. Luis Santa, who is kind of a Colorado transplant, again, out of that top 16. I just like to see, like you were kind of saying, especially in bodybuilding, maybe take a little more time, build the body, build your weaknesses.
I see a lot of these competitors competing, like we were talking with Russ and Adam. It's like, at least try to be better than you were the last time you stepped on stage. And I don't see that a lot with a lot of these athletes.
Yeah. I don't know if people feel pressure to get on stage. Not really sure. I gotta say, and just because he's really is a great all-around guy, but truly, Brad Rowe, who trains out of Venice, he placed third and was right there as well in that top 3 in the Open. Third place at your pro debut. Now, I do think he picked, a very good strategic show to do your pro debut, but nonetheless, he's got a great look, good solid muscle. He trains with Fletcher Sean Roden, not bad training partner if you're an up-and-coming bodybuilder. So, again, congrats to all the Colorado athletes. I think it was, like I said, a well-run show. A lot of athletes, but, anything after the Olympia, again, typically you're not going to always get sort of those main people. It really does allow for some of the athletes that really maybe don't have as much of a fighting chance in some of those bigger shows. So I guess there's a need for that too. The Olympia. So we're going to talk more about this next week. But what's the deal? Why isn't it being aired? Do you know?
I have no idea. That's a good question. But it hasn't been put on TV. It's been advertised and not aired. So maybe we can get to the bottom of that by next show and talk about it a little bit.
We definitely are going to get to the bottom of that. There's been a lot of hearsay on the production was poor. I don't know. I still sort of lean towards, we are still viewed as freaks. Now, there's poker on ESPN, which drives me bananas. There's, old car shows, which makes no sense to me. But, we still are viewed in that sort of light. And again, if I had my sort of thoughts, truly, I don't think the Phil Kai thing did anybody any favors to get this on national television. But we don't know that, so
it's all speculation at this point. So.
Yeah, let's just table that conversation so we get the word on that. Let's talk about our Colorado athletes at Nationals in Miami. So, who do you got? Who do we know?
I have Adam Young, who, was just here. David Raday, who was a second place physique guy at Junior Nationals. And Olivia Machete, who took, third at USA.
Yeah. And here, I posted on Facebook. So, we've got a good group. Haley McGrath is going as well.
Yes,
so, she won the Colorado State, correct?
She won the state, yes.
Did she do the Warrior, too?
No, she didn't do the Warrior. She did go to USA. I think she finished,
she was right there. Yeah.
USA, so I think.
So let me take a look. Haley McGrath, Ashley Washington, Allie Topher Couture. I know she trains over with the Misfits and Mayhems. She's done very well, top 5 in bikini. She's got a great look. That'll be fun. Jason Lopez, Adam Young, Maddie, Victoria Marie Jenks. She's Evie Ray's client down there in Colorado Springs. She's a figure competitor, I believe, strong. I'm sure there's more coming out of the woodwork, but
Russ Allen.
Yeah, Russ Allen we just saw. There's going to be a good, like I said, Rachel Dawn Fisher. I believe she trains with Cameron Bodner, but she's a bikini competitor that's very strong as well. I'm sure there's more coming out. Lauren Williams is a client of mine, plays in the top 3 nationally in every show she's entered, figure. So excited to see what she's going to do.
So I think, Colorado's sent some really great athletes out there and
Absolutely.
should do very well.
So we've got the Rocky coming up.
The Rocky
as well. So that'll be, obviously a lot of these people will probably enter and then move right into Nationals.
Or there could be a lot of people still trying to qualify and enter last minute.
We didn't even mention Russ Allen is guest posing.
He is guest posing.
Guest posing at the Rocky.
Which will be a week before the show, so that'll be
Yeah, it'll
For
be
Nationals, it'll be good to see him.
Those of you coming absolutely to the Rockies, always a big show. It's really our last show of the season here in Colorado. It'll be great to see what Russ looks like, and even really possibly kind of an opportunity for him to tweak too. I don't know if they'll use that as an example, kind of to get him ready, but
I'm sure he will. He's, they're
yeah.
Why wouldn't?
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
So
Bob Chigarello will be in town, so the voice.
The voice will be here. Yes, Bob.
The voice will be here. Yes, people are excited about that. What else is happening?
After that, it looks like we're going to get a break, and I'm ready. It's been a long year.
Do you take a break? Do you take a vacation, or you do that at after USA?
I usually do it after USA, but nothing seemed like a vacation this year. It just seemed to go, and I'm like,
it was a long year.
I'm gonna disappear in December. Let's say that.
He's not going to be around, folks. Although it's a quiet time.
Yeah.
And then things start gearing up for sort of the spring shows, which I think is important. We were talking earlier. There isn't an on and off season, but there's definitely, I think, periods of intensity. And because you can't keep sort of a contest prep or a show prep intensity all year round. But, it's important to take a little bit of that time.
It's time to rest, you, like I said, you 100% nutrition, 100% training, 100% mental. Yeah. You got to let that all rest.
Are you going to Mexico? What are you doing?
No, I'm not going to Mexico.
Okay.
I got chased out of there last night. Yeah. Mexico, of all places.
I believe that. And I'll be taking a little break myself, but yeah.
Yeah, you're going to take.
He's petrified that my water's going to break here.
Anyway.
But so far, we're almost there. We'll be right back.
They say there are no secrets in bodybuilding. That to stand next to the best in the world, it takes brutally hard work, discipline, dedication, the ability to push yourself to a level you never thought was possible. That's all true, but there are still some secrets. This is mine.
Because I get asked this a lot. I know how I feel about it, and we often agree. But I get a lot, especially females, actually, asking. So if I want to build more muscle, I should do low rep.
Eat lots of spinach.
Popeye. So what would your response to that be?
Well, muscles develop two ways. Obviously you tear it down and it grows back bigger.
Okay, so pause. So females, let me just say this. If you are not going to the point of failure, I don't really like that word, but everyone understands, fatigue, can't do any more, that is how you tear down the muscle, okay? So, I'm sorry, I wanted to pause fine. Because your body doesn't know if it's 6, 8, 42 reps.
Well, what you have after that, you've got you've got a muscle fascia, that thin little membrane that you find along your chicken breasts that you're eating every day. You got that same thing going around your muscle. So you break your muscle down and it grows back bigger, but it's going to be suppressed by that
fascia.
So the only way to make that fascia expand is by stretching it. And the only way to stretch it is by pumping a ton of muscle into the blood and stretching it out.
So
reps.
High volume. Okay. So you heard it here. High volume, okay? Really, it's really important. The other thing that I always remind people is you get big by what you eat.
Yes.
Okay, so if you are at a surplus of calories,
right.
This is how we get big, correct?
Depending on what
the type of Oh, okay. Well, this brings up the whole macro thing, which we're going to talk about next time.
Yeah, that can go on for that can be a long talk.
I just made a post. Cake is still fucking cake. Okay? So I don't care if it fits your macros. If you're eating cake, okay, you don't have room for healthy nutrients. Okay, I understand some people can't, eat clean 24/7 every day, la 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 la. But No, you shouldn't be able to fit cake in your daily intake. Okay, so that just got that out of the way. But so again, high volume.
High volume.
And here's my biggest thing with females, especially. It is very hard for a female to get to failure, fatigue, max out by themselves, which most people kind of train by themselves with dumbbells. You can't do it. You can't get 6 to 8 reps.
No.
You're going to be a hot mess. The dumbbell's flying. I mean, it's just not, and I shouldn't even say females. Because a male, you're right.
Right.
I mean, a male, it's very challenging to get that 6 to 8 rep. And then what's always interesting is I'll say, well, which is harder? Well, the 20 reps is harder. Well, maybe that could be a good indicator too.
Well, it's hard. It's work. And, you're doing those reps. And the best way is, you get those reps and you get that combined heavy weight. But, that's all like we talk about time. You've got to get your form down. You've got to learn to get your reps, and then you've got to,
I think you have to have a good partner, too. It's hard to do this really on your own.
It is. It's hard.
Wouldn't you say?
A good partner, coach, whatever, somebody to keep you, honest in your workouts.
So that being said, okay, so we both agree on that from the high volume standpoint, higher reps. So for somebody out there, what would a good, estimate on how many reps per body part?
Legs, I'm always a 20 to 50 guy. Sometimes even, higher if we can get
Yes.
upper body, I would say 15 to 20.
Okay,
if
so
you're doing
15
your
to
15s, not always, you might be doing a drop set. You might do a bench of 4 reps, but then after that, peel some weights off and pump some blood in there afterwards.
Yeah. So, we're not opposed to, or it's not what we're
Drop
saying.
sets, stuff like that.
Absolutely. Or doing a few sets with those lower reps. But the bulk of your workout is not going to be in those low reps.
Unless you're training for strength, like powerlifting or something. But
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if every prep that I ever did, I always used reps, and I would always get stronger because a conditioned muscle is always going to be a stronger muscle.
You have to have the endurance in the muscle
And
before you get that strength.
people say, "Oh, I got to be ripped for a show," and it's like your muscles have to be conditioned. That's how you get that dry, crisp look, is by having them conditioned. You just don't diet and lift heavy. You're not gonna get a conditioned look. You're just not.
So you say 15 to 20 reps, obviously upper body, 20 to 50 on lower body for legs, and then total per body part.
Right. The only thing that's got me confused
per
on
part?
all that is, watching Dorian Yates' old videos. Him doing one set of something, and he always showed up peeled and dry.
Well, yeah, and you can't like anything. One way is not. There are many ways, but I think typically speaking, so 50 to those reps. But how many total reps per body part then? You're talking.
Well, we've done 500-600 on legs.
Yeah,
easy. And you try 500-600 reps next time you go in the gym. It takes quite a while. That's why you're doing 40-50 at a time.
Exactly. Then you might not have to stay on the Stairmaster for hours on end. I can attest, and that's, again, you guys, you've heard it here. I mean, you're known for creating just epic legs.
Yeah.
And, I mean, all around bodies, but you heard it here. So, no, not necessarily low reps means obviously putting on size. It takes
some reps, some heavy breathing.
It takes some heavy breathing and maybe sweating.
And
some
of that coming your way. Some heavy breathing.
Some heavy breathing, some sweating. And, again, you've got to eat for a surplus. You cannot be in a deficit and expect to put on size.
And if you're going into the gym and you're not getting good workouts, you look at your diet, because if you are tired and you go in the gym and you think you need a bunch of stimulants to wake up, try doing a set of 50 just to wake you up. You'll wake up real quick, and if you got the right nutrients in your body and the right amount of water, you'll wake right up and go into your workout. You don't need a red line. You don't need any, unless you're 4 weeks out from a show, and then it's let's start throwing the stimulants in, because you are just dead by that point.
Yeah. So
but off season, anybody takes stimulants, I'm just
okay, that's another conversation too. That's a whole other conversation too. You guys, thanks for tuning in this week to the Mile High Muscle Talk Show. We look forward to talking to you next week.
Peace.